So last week we had a special episode of the Super Side Salad Show with NephilimFree, YouTube's own young Earth creationist and Christian. I was in the show myself during the full 2 hours as a member of the panel, but I didn't get a chance to talk to NephilimFree personally during the main discussion of the show, because I decided to forfeit my question in favor of the ongoing discussion NephilimFree was having with Fiona. But in the end, all the panel members that were in the show were able to ask NephilimFree one question, and the question I asked NephilimFree I will be showing you here.
Not just designed in his mind, but he actually created it, made it come into being.
Okay, so George, you've been waiting for a while. I think you had a point, didn't you? Do you want to come now?
Yeah, I had a question about 2 hours ago which hasn't been addressed. It was in the form of a question, so I'll try to make it short in a statement. There's a video circling on the... I hear an echo. There was a video circling on the internet of a medical house doctor who did research on dinosaurs denying evolution, and he had problems with transitional species, and his method of research was going to hundreds of museums with his wife, and his wife taking the photos, and that was his evidence, and he presented that going all over America within the religious groups. I had my own encounter with you, NephilimFree, about 1 or 2 years ago, and I hadn't had a chance to look up the video before the show, but it was about beaked whales. Perhaps you remember that. It was on my channel Jungle Hyena. And basically what you tend to do is what Matt said about an hour ago. You just read the title and you go with your own interpretation, and what you do is not read all the facts which are in an article, and sometimes you misinterpret the text of the words and you present that as evidence. It is of course very difficult for a person like me who is not fully knowledgeable about DNA and such things to question that. And you are you have a lot of knowledge about these subjects, but I question the validity of your research, because my impression is that you willingly interpret sometimes things wrong, and that's basically what I wanted to say.
Okay. Well, let me respond to that. You mentioned whale and evolution. I'll give you two things to think about when it comes to whale evolution. What we have in the fossil record is creatures which have anterior fins or legs, and we have whales which have neither. Okay, so whales have two bones in their anatomy called ischium, and these bones are anchors for the penis because they're anchored with cartilage and tendon to the spine of the whale. The reason for that is because whales have penises up to 12 feet long, and they weigh tons, and reproduction can be a very violent creature when you're trying to, you can get the drift. So God gave them these two bones as anchors for the penis. Okay, but the evolutionist claims that they're vestigial of a pelvis. But here's the problem: we just have these two bones are part of the reproductive system. There is no reason to believe that any living creature ever had its penis based, the corpora cavernosa of its penis mounted directly to its pelvis in the past. We don't know of any such creature. Okay, so, but the evolutionist has to believe that there was a creature that walked on the earth, and every time it did, it was tearing and pulling at itself internally at the base of its penis when it walked, because its cavernosa were attached directly to its pelvis. That's illogical. Okay, so secondly, we have a transitional form between whales and Basilosaurus, Ambulocetus, whatnot, Rhodocetus, which have all those bones. What we should see as a transitional form is creatures losing bones, losing bones, losing bones, losing bones, etc., and then none. See, there are no transitional forms in the fossil record. You have creatures with all those bones. You have creatures like which are whales that have none of them. See, there is no transitional form there. And the last thing I would ask you to think about when it comes to whales is evolutionists believe that the snout, the nostrils, of the predecessor to whales migrated. They merged into a single blowhole and migrated up the skull of the creature to the top to become a blowhole. If you don't believe that, you have to believe in the hopeful monster theory, which says that the blowhole appeared all of a sudden like that without transition. That wouldn't be tenable. Okay, so you have to believe it migrated. Now, do you believe that the air passages that go to the nose of these creatures migrated in such a way that these air passages passed right through the brain of the creature?
It
Because
doesn't.
that makes no sense, you see.
It doesn't matter what I think of it. You avoid the main question, and that is that you willingly misinterpret scientific research constantly. That was my main question.
Okay, hang on. We've got to continue now.
So that was about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next video.